Good afternoon. We're in one of my favorite places, Cumberland Gap, Tennessee. I like to come down here on weekends. Friday night's a good date night with the wife. Come down here to Angelo's Pizza and grab you a pizza, sit on the back porch and kind of listen to the stream flow by and listen to the conversation, and kind of a quiet town. It's in Cumberland Gap, obviously. It's on the eastern side, I guess you would say, of it. Before it goes through the mountain, it's on the Tennessee side, Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky border. In fact, the monument to the three-state border is right here, just right outside of Cumberland Gap. But we're going to kind of explore this place. I know a few years back we came here and I brought the girls. I was batching that weekend. Leanne was gone somewhere, I don't remember where. And I had both girls, they were young, and we went to see a Shakespeare play right here in the park, here in Cumberland Gap. It's called Macbeth. And guess where the villain was from? The villain, they had rednecked this play up, and it was, I don't know, it was Macbeth, but it was named something else. The villain was from Corbin, of all places, which is where I'm from. But we're going to explore Cumberland Gap today and see what we can find here. Right back here on the other side of me when I first started the camera, that's the old mill here in Cumberland Gap. But we're going to explore around and see what we can find. We're going to go take a look at the iron furnace is what we're going to go take a look at. That was the reason for coming down here. This KR4 Golf Whiskey Delta. We'll also be doing a little radio somewhere around here. We'll find us a place to throw a wire up in a tree and see who we can contact. We'll get going. All right, just looking around here, this is one of those interpretive things that gives you a little bit of history of the Gap. This one's talking about the Civil War. It's right here in the parking lot at the entrance. During the Civil War, Cumberland Gap changed hands 4 different times. Part of the time it was Confederate held, and part of the time it was Union held. But 4 times during the war, Cumberland Gap, the Gap itself, changed hands between the Union and the Confederacy. But we're going to move along a little bit and see what else we can find here in Cumberland Gap, Tennessee. All right, we're still in Cumberland Gap, touring around. Got another one of these interpretive signs. When Daniel Boone laid out the Wilderness Road, which ran from Martin Station over in Virginia through Cumberland Gap over to Harrodsburg, Kentucky, he laid it out along Indian trails and game trails. And one of the things that created the Indian trails running through here was the Shawnee and the Cherokee fighting one another. The Cherokee lived, of course, in the Smoky Mountains about 100 miles south of here, and about 100 miles north is where the Shawnee lived. And this is how they got together to fight. They would come through this, come through the gap down here and kind of follow the Powell River into the Smoky Mountains on down through towards Knoxville. But we're continuing along up this trail. We may go up to the tri-state border. I'll tell you what, it's tough on a fat boy. We're climbing up the hill up here to the tri-state marker. We got 0.6 miles to go. Standing in the middle of a wilderness road. This is where Civil War soldiers went back and forth. It's where the Cherokee and the Shawnee Indians went back and forth against one another. Or Shawnee Indians, I'm sorry. But it's where the pioneers came in. One sign just down the road down there said, was crying the blues. It was a letter written by somebody traveling back in the settlement days. It said, man, this is one of the roughest roads we've ever walked on. And said the guys with good horses, they were doing fine, but the people walking barefoot along with children, said they was, man, bad shape. And I can imagine. I'll tell you what, like I said, it's hard on a fat boy climbing this hill. But we're going to keep climbing. We got 0.6 miles to go. One thing about it, it'll be easier coming down. KR4 Golf Whiskey Delta, climbing the mountain, Cumberland Gap, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia. All right, we got a marker in the middle of the road supplied by the Daughters of, let's see, Daughters of the American Revolution. It's a monument to Daniel Boone and his travels through here. They call it the Daniel Boone Trail, going through Cumberland Gap. He was a tough son of a gun. I guarantee they didn't have gravel back in his day. KR4 Golf Whiskey Delta. Whew! Fat boy got to catch his breath. Well, we made it to the tri-state marker. right here at Cumberland Gap. Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. It took the collective efforts of 3 state legislatures, the United States Congress, and the Supreme Court of the United States to figure out where this point was. And I tell you what, today, if you climbed that 1.2 miles up from that parking lot down there, you'd kind of think, well, was it worth all that? Back in those days, it probably was, because this was the major highway. You know, today, we think of moving things. We think of getting on the interstate. We think of getting on an airplane and going somewhere. When they pioneered west out of Virginia to settle the United States, this is how they came. They came right through Cumberland Gap into Kentucky and Tennessee out of Virginia and North Carolina. Back then, Tennessee is a little bit younger of a state than Kentucky. So this part back then, the Tennessee part was actually North Carolina. Kentucky was a little bit older of a state. But we're up here. And if you look over this way, this cleared space over here, looks like we've got some transmission lines, probably going to ODP, Old Dominion Power, from KU, and they're coming out of the Kentucky side. This side over here is the Tennessee side, and where I just came from, where I was sitting, that's the Virginia side. And boy, what a view up here, looking over the top of Middlesboro. Whoo! You can see that Coca-Cola plant down there, all the way down in the bottom. It's KR4 Golf Whiskey Delta. We're at the pin that marks the border of the state of Kentucky, state of Tennessee, and the state of Virginia, here in Cumberland Gap. Major highway to the west when the West was settling the United States. Also a major highway for the Indian Wars, when the Cherokee and the Shawnee were trying, or not Shawnee, whatever they were trying to figure out which one was going to be the dominant tribe. They come back and forth through here fighting. Then during the Civil War, we fought ourselves through here. And like I said, this place changed hands 4 times during the Civil War between the Union and the Confederate Army. And you could see here, man, you could lob a cannonball and destroy Middlesboro from here. There's not many trees from here to there. They've cut them down to accommodate these transmission lines that are coming up the hill. But we're going to head on back down and check out the iron furnace. Be back in just a little while. KR4 Golf Whiskey Delta, high top, whatever this is, Cumberland Gap. All right, we just got back from the top of the mountain where the tri-state marker is. We're down here at the ironworks. All of you have probably seen one of these somewhere and kind of wondered how it worked. There's thousands of these throughout the United States, particularly in the southeast. A lot of iron made, all up through New England. All kinds of these things standing around. The way they worked is you put the ore in the top and you had a fire burning in the bottom with charcoal that you'd made, and it smelted the iron. It melted the iron out of the ore, and it ran out and they collected it and made ingots, and then they would ship it somewhere. In the case here, they would take it down to the Powell River and put it on a barge, and they would push it down the Powell River into the Clinch, Tennessee River, and finally wind up in Chattanooga, where they have foundries that would make steel out of it and other items made out of iron. Now, what's missing here is the old hammer mill. You've probably heard of a hammer mill. The purpose of that was to grind the ore, which was rock that contained iron. You'd have to grind it into powder before you could use it. And a hammer mill looks something like an inline 4-cylinder motor turned upside down with the pistons upside down and going up and down and beating on these rocks, which had to be kind of infuriating to the people in town to listen to that thing all day. But that's basically how it worked. And they'd locate these things by a creek. Right here behind me there's a stream with a little falls coming down, and that would turn the water wheel that would power that hammer mill. It also had to have a bellows to blow air in to make the fire hot enough to melt the iron. And the same water wheel that was doing the hammer mill would power the bellows. From what I read, this iron furnace, in a day's time when it was running, it would go through about 3.5 ton or 6,500 pounds of iron ore and about 1,500 pounds of limestone. It also burned about 53 or 4 trees to make that happen. But and you might wonder what the limestone's for. There's no iron in limestone. Limestone's used for flux. I don't have any experience whatsoever with iron, but over the years I've made a lot of baits with lead. And when you melt lead, you have to flux it to take the impurities out, because if you run it through your equipment, pouring it with impurities in it, it'll tear up the equipment. And so what you do with lead, they make a commercial flux that they sell. It's a powderized thing. In the old days, a lot of us before that, we used candles. I always had a candle with my lead pouring thing, and you just take a pocket knife and cut some pieces off of that candle and throw it in that hot lead, and it would briefly catch on fire. It would flame up, and then up to the top in that wax would float the impurities, and you just kind of skim it off with a spoon. Well, they did the same thing here with the iron before they would ship it out. And the reason they handled that here, that's a transportation thing. You always transport the highest value product. Well, the iron ore itself is not worth much till it's made of iron. The wood, kind of the same thing. I'm sure they weren't using the logs, they were using the branches and whatnot off the trees that were extras after they had sawed the wood. Also the limestone. Back in those days, everything had to go by wagon. This thing was built in the 1800s. It was around during the Civil War in the 1860s. So it was there producing cannonballs and cannons and all that kind of thing for the Civil War. But that was one of the industries here. From what I read, the same guy owned 3 of these things around here. One of them in Middlesboro, this one here, and then there was another one someplace else in Tennessee. I'm not really familiar with that town, but he had 3 of them producing those iron ingots that they were shipping down the Powell River into Chattanooga to the foundries. And I guess, you know, when we fished the Powell River, way up in it, you run into some mines. They're on the kind of, I guess you could say, the west side of the river as it goes north. And I guess that's what those mines were. They were probably affiliated with these iron ore furnaces that made iron. But we're going to go get a radio, and we're going to get set up somewhere and do a little bit of radio here in the Cumberland Gap National Park. KR4 Golf Whiskey Delta from Cumberland Gap National Park. Well, we're in Cumberland Gap National Park, right near the Iron Works. It was built in the 1800s. It was around in the Civil War, making cannonballs and iron for the war effort. Been around a long time. We've got our 991A going, got a wire thrown up in a tree. We're going to see who we can contact. Right now we're on the 7230 wing nuts. As Roger Miller said, I'm a nut. I'm a nut. Kilo Romeo 4 Golf Whiskey Delta. This is Skip from Cumberland Gap National Park. Good afternoon. What's going on? I'm doing good. I'm in Cumberland Gap National Historic Park, running a 991A on a battery right beside a trail.
Yeah, I got a real weak copy on you. What would you call location again?
Cumberland Gap National Park. It's on the border of Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Tri-State Park.
I hear you're pretty good here between Nashville and Memphis and Tennessee, up there in Cumberland Gap.
What are you, around Lebanon?
Yeah, pretty close. I'm in Linden.
Okay, yeah, I just hiked up to the tri-state marker, 1.2 miles straight uphill and 1.2 miles back.
And your call sign is Kilo Romeo 4, question mark?
Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta. It's Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta. This is Skip. If you look it up, it'll come under Lonnie.
Alright, Jeff, I got you in the log now, man. Good deal. Are you doing parks on the air or anything like that, or a special event, maybe?
I've got a YouTube and Facebook channel, and this is a new venture for me. I guess this could be parks on the air, but I'm not keeping a log looking for the 10 contacts.
Well, good enough. I'll just write it down as special event.
I've got a camera going filming this, and did one last week, or last Sunday actually, in Wildcat Battleground up in Kentucky, Rockcastle County and Laurel County.
That sounds pretty cool. It does.
This is what happens when you give a bass fisherman and a hunter a radio license.
Yeah. You take them out of their environment and put them in another one is what it is. Somebody's going to break the squelch as soon as the deer starts moving in.
I'd say a man better not do that around here, but they got plenty of them running around here. They even got some elk.
You know, Tennessee's going to have an early squirrel season this year. It starts this weekend.
I'll tell you what, if I can get the ones out of my house that's in my attic, we're going to have an early squirrel season in Kentucky.
Yep, this weekend starts Saturday. 10 limit per day. I guess Tennessee has too many squirrels this year.
I'll tell you what, they're getting to be a problem at the house. They've got into my soffit, and I can't seem to get them with a trap.
I know I have a lot of them around here, and I had a couple flying squirrels in the house. They made it in the attic and come down through the scuttle hole in the attic and fell down in the closet, and I caught them.
Hey, that's good that you caught them. Get rid of them. This is Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta. This is Skip, calling from Cumberland Gap, Tennessee, Cumberland Gap National Park.
Station calling, go ahead.
Just seeing if you're receiving me.
I am receiving you just fine. You're about 5'8" here into the Cleveland area.
Okay, I'm in Cumberland Gap, Tennessee, right near Wilderness Road, right near the Iron Works, if you've ever been into Cumberland Gap National Historic Park.
I have not been there. You came up to a 5'9", though. Can I get your call sign for the log?
Okay, it's Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta. That's Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta. I'm running a Yaesu 991A, battery powered.
Well, your audio is crystal clear, so that's good. I've got some static in the background, but Lonnie, your signal is good here into the Cleveland, Ohio area.
Okay. I don't doubt my signal's pretty rough. I'm down here in the bowl. I don't know how familiar you are with Cumberland Gap, but I'm down in the bowl part in the bottom and kind of up against a cliff line underneath a bunch of trees underneath the canopy with a wire thrown up on a baling.
Well, it is working well for you. You are hitting the 5'9" mark every turn, so you've got a good setup there for especially for where you are.
Well, thank you. It's a quick rig. This is the second time I've done one of these out in the park.
Well, very good. I'll say 73 to you, and have a great time there.
Alrighty, 7-3 to you. This is Kilo Romeo 4, Golf Whiskey Delta. I'll be clear 73.
73. This is Whiskey 1, Alpha Whiskey, Stroke 8. It's yours at Kilo Foxtrot 8, Victor Sierra. Oh, it's always good talking to you. 7-3, I'm going to get out of here this time myself. So, this is W0PCH, now clear, and QRT also, 7-3.
Before y'all clear out, can I jump in? This is Kilo Romeo 4 Golf Whiskey Delta.
Yeah, hearing you too, Bruce. Bruce, real nice, real nice. It's good signal, no problem. This is on the line, Bruce. W0PCH, now clear. Yeah, there was a KR4 GWD. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Kilo Romeo 4 Golf Whiskey Delta. This is Skip. I'm playing in a park, Cumberland Gap National Historic Park in Cumberland Gap, Tennessee.
Yeah, very good, Skip. Yeah, this is WD9IOK. I'm about an hour east-southeast of Nashville near Lascassas, and you're coming in here 5-9 plus there, over.
Okay, I'm on the eastern side of the state, right at the tri-state marker, almost.
Yep, QSL, know where that's at, and you're doing a good job here on the short skip this afternoon. Yeah, that just broke up, but I heard you call, so I thought I'd give you a quick response before I pull the big switch. But you're doing a good job here into middle part of Tennessee from your portable operation there. Go ahead.
All right, I appreciate that. Doing this little portable operation. This is the second one I've done in a park. I've been doing some out at the gun club, raising the baling up on a flagpole. And Sunday I went to Wildcat Battlefield up in Kentucky. And now today, Cumberland Gap National Park in Tennessee. Kind of film these things and do a little YouTube and Facebook video with them.
Okay, well, you have a good time there with all your portable ops, and enjoy the nice, cool weather you have. We might get a little frost tonight, they're saying now around here. So I bet you guys will have some of the same. Okay, well, listen, I got to run, Skip. Got some animal feed stuff, so we got to head out. But nice signal here in the middle Tennessee, and you take care and have a great time there. KR4 GWD, WD9IOK will be clear. 73, sir.
All right, 73 to you. This is Kilo Romeo 4 Golf Whiskey Delta. I'm going to be clear 73 here in Cumberland Gap, Tennessee. And we're going to break it off from now and head back towards Corbin. Tonight's net night on the 050 Will's machine. The wide area net, it'll include London. It'll include Shelby County, down into Tennessee, Caryville, repeaters, all kinds of repeaters. So we're going to go back, take care of that net. This is Kilo Romeo 4 Golf Whiskey Delta, Cumberland Gap National Historic Park.